My husband's dad said he should handle our money because women don't need to worry about finances. When I said no, he smirked and said, then don't expect support. My husband, Alex, just said, it's easier this way. I didn't see it coming. I thought Alex and I were a team. I thought we'd make big choices together, especially about money. But I was wrong. I probably missed the warning signs, or maybe I saw them and just looked the other way. When I married Alex, I didn't think I was also signing up for his dad, Richard, to treat me like I was clueless just because I'm a woman. Richard believed women should stay at home, not work or deal with money. He didn't care that I had a degree in accounting, a full-time job, and probably knew more about finances than anyone in their family. To him, I was just a woman, so I didn't get a say. I thought Alex wasn't like him. He never acted that way while we were dating. Sure, he let me make a lot of choices, but I thought it was because he trusted me. What I didn't realize was that he was used to his dad being in charge. He didn't know how to think for himself. Right after we got married, we visited Richard in his big office at home. He had a glass of whiskey in his hand, like he thought he was some kind of big-shot businessman. In our family, he said, sounding smug, the men take care of the money. I laughed. I thought he was joking. I said, that's nice, but Alex and I will handle our money together. He didn't like that. He gave me a look, like I was a little kid saying I wanted to fly to the moon. Then he said, don't expect any support. That's when I realized he wasn't giving advice. He was giving me a choice: let him and Alex control the money, or get cut off. Alex just said, it's easier this way. But easier for who? Not me. At first, it was small stuff. Alex wouldn't tell me about bills he paid or money he moved. He started making money decisions on his own. It was always Dad thinks we should or Dad says it's smart. I tried to ignore it, but then I saw something bad. Our savings account, our joint account, was missing $155,000. I asked Alex, where did the money go? Oh, he said like it was no big deal. Dad moved it into an investment. I stared at him. What do you mean he moved it? He said it's a smart move. He's always handled the family's money. I felt sick. And you just let him? Alex looked at me like I was the crazy one. Why wouldn't I? That's when I knew he'd always pick his dad over me. So I stopped fighting them, or at least, that's what I let them think. I opened my own bank account, quietly switched my paycheck to go there. From then on, I kept my money separate, and I said nothing. But I wasn't done. I gathered proof, bank statements, emails, texts where Richard made financial decisions without me. I saved everything. And then I waited. Things were quiet. Alex didn't notice my paycheck wasn't going into our joint account, or if he did, he didn't say anything. But I knew Richard wasn't finished. Then one night, Alex mentioned another investment Richard wanted to make. Don't worry, he said, eating dinner. Dad says it's low risk, high reward. I dropped my fork. How much this time? He shrugged. Not sure, but Dad needs access to the joint account again. I smiled. Okay, but I think the bank added security. They might call me first. Yeah, makes sense, Alex said. The next day, I went to the bank. I told them not to let anyone take money out without calling me first. 3 days later, they called. Mrs. Taylor, someone tried to transfer $20,000. We blocked it. Who tried? I asked. Richard Taylor. Of course. That night, Alex came home like nothing was wrong. A few minutes later, his phone rang. I could hear Richard yelling. The bank won't let me transfer the money. They froze the account. Alex frowned. What? That doesn't make sense. He looked at me. Did you do something? I leaned back. Do what, exactly? The joint account, it's frozen. Maybe because someone was taking money without my permission. Richard was still shouting through the phone. Fix this, Alex. Alex sighed. Just tell the bank to unlock it. Dad needs the money. I stared at him. No. Alex blinked. What? I'm not unfreezing anything, I said. Sophie, you're making this harder than it has to be. Am I? I asked. Because I never agreed to let your dad risk our savings. Alex said, it's not a risk, it's an investment. I laughed. Really? What return are we getting? Any numbers? Silence. Richard yelled, let me talk to Sophie. Alex said, maybe just talk to him. I have nothing to say to him. I stood up. Tell him the money is off limits. Alex didn't answer. That's when I knew, he wasn't just being controlled, he didn't care. I had to act fast. I started digging into Richard's investments. I didn't just want to stop him, I wanted to expose him. And I found something. Richard wasn't just taking from our account, he was stealing from everyone. Alex's brother? His savings were almost gone. His mom? Richard had taken half her retirement. This wasn't just bad judgment. It was theft. And then I found the worst part, a loan for $50,000 in Alex's name. It was taken out 6 months ago. The payments were coming from our joint account. And it had already defaulted. I looked over the loan paperwork. There was still over $40,000 left to pay, and it was all in Alex's name, not Richard's. I felt ice run through my veins. This wasn't just a bad financial move, this was fraud. That night, I acted normal. I cooked dinner, smiled at Alex's dumb jokes, but inside, I was furious. Then Richard called. I put my fork down. Alex answered and put the call on speaker. Richard was furious. Alex, what's going on? The bank flagged a transfer, they're investigating now, they froze the account again. Alex looked confused. Investigating what? What are you talking about? Richard growled. Sophie must have called them again. That woman is ruining everything. I clenched my jaw. Alex rubbed his forehead. Dad, can you calm down? What transfer are you talking about? There was a pause. Then Richard said quietly. The loan payment. I saw the exact moment Alex's brain broke. He stared at the phone. Loan payment? He repeated. Richard sighed like he was explaining to a child. Yes, the business loan, the one in your name. Alex's face turned pale. What do you mean, in my name? I leaned back and watched it all unfold. You took out a loan in my name? Alex yelled, standing up so fast his chair scraped the floor. Richard replied like it was no big deal. The bank wouldn't approve it under my name. I had to. I nearly laughed. He actually admitted it, on speaker. Alex looked crushed. He sank into his chair, holding his head. Dad, that's fraud. Richard snapped. Watch your mouth. I did this for the family. I've handled our finances for years. Don't act like I'm some criminal. That was enough. I grabbed the phone and ended the call. Alex just sat there, stunned. Then he turned to me. Sophie, did you know? I took a deep breath. I found out today. His hands were shaking. What do we do? I almost felt sorry for him, almost. But this was the man who let his father control everything, who told me to trust Richard, who let this happen. So I looked him in the eye and said, We don't do anything. I do. Richard had no idea what was coming. The next day, I made calls. First, the bank. I sent them everything I had, emails, screenshots, proof of Richard using our money without permission. Then, I called Daniel, Alex's brother. Richard's been stealing from you, I said. There was silence. What? Check your accounts, he's been draining them for 2 years. I heard typing, then a sharp breath. Oh my God, what the hell is this? He did the same to us, and to your mom. Daniel swore. That's her retirement fund, she trusts him. She won't for long. Because I was about to expose everything. That night, Richard was hosting a family dinner. A few business friends were there too. He loved pretending to be the wise, successful head of the family. Perfect. Alex didn't argue when I said we were going. He was still in shock. When we walked in, the house was full of people chatting and laughing. Richard was in his glory, whiskey in hand. His wife, Susan, was smiling and talking to guests like nothing was wrong. I saw Daniel by the kitchen. His jaw was tight. We made eye contact. I nodded. It was time. Richard saw us. My boy, and Sophie, come in, have a drink. I smiled. Oh, we should all get a drink. We've got a lot to talk about. Richard laughed. Something exciting? I tilted my head. You could say that. Daniel stepped forward. Hey, Dad, I checked my accounts today. The room got quiet. Richard's smile slipped. Oh? Daniel's voice was sharp. Turns out, I'm missing $70,000. Guests started whispering. Richard laughed awkwardly. I made some investments for you. Oh yeah? The bank calls it theft, Daniel snapped. Susan looked confused. What's going on? I stepped in. Oh, Susan, you're going to want to hear this. Richard stole from all of us, even you. Her face fell. What? I turned to the room. Here's what happened. Richard drained our savings. He took out a business loan in Alex's name. He moved money from everyone's accounts, without permission. I looked at Susan. He emptied half your retirement fund. Did you know that? Her eyes widened. Richard? Richard's face turned red. Now hold on. I cut him off. We have proof, bank records, emails, and we've reported it. The guests looked shocked. Some were already pulling out their phones. Susan stepped toward him. Is this true? Richard tried to stay calm. I was just moving things around. I didn't mean. Without telling anyone? Danielle shouted. You lied. Susan's voice cracked. You said our money was safe. It's just a temporary. I stepped closer. It's fraud. Then I dropped the final bomb. The bank's launching an investigation. This isn't just a setback, it's a crime. The room gasped. For the first time, Richard looked truly scared. After the guests left, Richard yelled at Alex. You let her do this. You let your wife tear this family apart. Alex stared at him. You tore it apart. Susan packed a bag and left. She didn't say much, but she left. Daniel went no contact. As for Alex, he broke down. He kept apologizing, saying he didn't know, that he should have listened. I believed him, but I couldn't trust him anymore. So I did what I should have done a long time ago. I filed for divorce. The bank moved fast. They froze Richard's accounts. The fraud investigation picked up speed. And the loan? Since it was in Alex's name, Richard thought we'd be stuck with it. Too bad for him. The bank found forged signatures. That meant one thing, Richard was fully responsible. He lost everything, his money, his home, his family. And then came the best part. Richard was arrested for financial fraud. As they cuffed him and walked him out of his house, I looked him in the eye and said, I told you I'd handle my own money.